to Death Before Booze, where we don't know what we're doing. I'm Sam.
I don't know.
Hi, Jen. It's nice to see you today.
It's
been a day. It's been a day. So actually, it's been a couple of days. So sorry this is late. Yes, we are recording this on the day it was supposed to come out. But there were circumstances that were maybe sort of in my control, but probably definitely not. So nothing crazy happened. We're just very behind.
We're fine.
And life happens.
It's
just life. So keep dancing through. That's my flavor of ADD. Like, you know, if you say a certain word, like, I'm like, I have to sing the song.
Honestly, right? I hear you.
Oh my God. So today's episode topic is, I can't do it.
It is Trails of Terror.
See what we did there.
So it's kind of like Trail of Terror 2, but Sam added the S. So
special. Oh my God, we're so smart and so unique and so innovative. So I go first. And yes. I am covering the Goatman Bridge. And I just forgot, it's like in Texas. Goatman Bridge. Well, actually, it's the old Altman Bridge, and then people call it the Goatman Bridge. But I like the Goatman Bridge better, so that's what we're calling it. It is a historic iron truss bridge connecting the Texas cities of Denton and Copper Canyon. It was built in 1884, and it originally carried horses and then later automobiles over Hickory Creek. So the heavily traveled old Alton Bridge remained in constant use until 2001, and then they built a new bridge with, like, you know, more lanes, because this was a one-lane bridge that, like, if you were going over it in a car, like, you had to beep your horn before you went over so people knew, hey, don't crash into me, like, that kind of one lane.
Yes.
Okay. So they built a new bridge, and this bridge, and, you know, here we go, this is my trail thing. With all the vehicle traffic removed, the bridge became an important link connecting the Elm Fork and Pilot Knoll hiking and equestrian trails. There's my trails. Okay, we're there. So now this is a popular location for nature enthusiasts, photographers, and ghost hunters alike. Dun, dun, dun!
Dun, dun!
So the old Altman Bridge was included in the National Register of Historic Places on July 8th, 1988. And now let's get into it. A lot of history there, as you can see. So there are two stories as to why the bridge could possibly be haunted. And then there's a few theories I'll throw in. So, again, locally it's known as the Goatman's Bridge, as it's said to be haunted by a half-man, half-goat figure called... Do you want to guess what he's called? I mean, I know.
I'm going to go something satanic, but I don't.
The Goatman. It's called the Goatman. He's called the Goatman.
Oh, okay.
Goatman Bridge.
Right.
Yeah, get it.
Well, that's really original. I thought he was going to go with some, like... I thought he was going to go with, like, a, you know...
We just call him Dave, you know?
We just call him...
Johnny.
The Goatman. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to... all right. Okay. Fine.
So, the main story is based on the legend of a black goat farmer named Oscar Washburn. And it said that he moved his family to a residence just north of the bridge. So this is a very secluded place. The town that used to be there kind of died. You know, like it was one of those, there wasn't enough water, there wasn't enough around it, so everybody kind of left and moved. And this guy, Oscar Washburn, again, is African American, he's black. And he found a spot kind of on the outskirts of the town that had died near this bridge. And he was very successful, you know. People knew him as dependable and honest. He was renowned for the quality of meat, milk, cheeses, and hides that he provided. And he was dubbed the Goatman by locals. So he decided to put a sign on the Alton Bridge reading this way to the Goatman. But because people are horrible and heaven forbid a black man have success in 1938, a lynch mob of Klansmen and the local government crossed the bridge, stormed Washburn's shack, and dragged the screaming Goatman to their waiting noose on the bridge. Of course, because people suck. People suck. Terrible. I know. So they tightened the rope around Oscar's neck while he's begging for his life. And they mercilessly threw him over the side of the bridge.
Oh.
And then something weird happened. So they looked over the side of the bridge, and there was no one in the noose. But there was also no splashes or anyone in the water below. So now the Klansmen are like, oh shit, what do we do? And they're panicking and they're angry because, they didn't get their way because they're horrible people. Fucking,
Well, they
5-year-olds in the fucking sandbox in 30-some-odd-plus-year-olds' bodies. Idiots. So they went and did a more horrible thing. They went back to the homestead and set the house on fire. Now, the house had Washburn's wife and kids in it. So the wife and kids come running out trying to, not die in a fire. And as they come out, they pick them off one by one. Now, as they're... I know, people are just fucking terrible. So as they're killing the family, they're kind of hoping that, Oscar will come out of wherever he's hiding so they can finish the job and no one will know because he's seen their faces, It's like this big thing and they're all part of the government type thing. Well, he never came out and his family died. And it's really sad. And I hate that story.
Huh.
It's a bad story.
But where did Oscar go?
I don't know. He's gone. But here's the second story, legend.
Oh,
they never found him.
Like,
yeah, they killed the family. They never found him, and that was the end. That's the first story. Now, the second story, legend.
What the hell?
I have another one.
It's a terrible story.
Oh, it gets worse, honey. Put on your seatbelt. Shit gets worse. And now this one is definitely a legend. Hold on. So the second legend is in the 1860s. Now, I think we went back in time. Yeah, we went back in time because it's the 1860s now. So cowboys ran down an escaped slave named Jack Kendall. He was also a goat farmer. And when they caught up with him, they lynched him from a nearby tree, which is right by the bridge. And at some point, while he is unfortunately hanging there, they decided to decapitate him. Because his head was gone, his body fell into the water, and somehow through black magic, the body comes up out of the water, finds a nearby goat that's hanging out, rips the goat's head off with his bare zombie fucking hands, puts it on his neck or shoulders or whatever's left, and he became the Goatman.
I mean, I like that story better.
I don't like either story. They're both terrible.
I mean, they're both
Why do
terrible.
people have to be terrible
at least
to other
that
people?
one,
Just fucking let them live.
At least that one's like, hey, I'm not dead. I'm a goat now. I got a head and that's a goat.
Well, we don't
now,
know if Oscar's dead. We never found him.
I know, that's fair. I mean,
well, either way. Either way, since then there's been a nasty spirit reported to haunt the bridge. And at this point, some locals attribute the quote-unquote hauntings to Satanists who maybe opened a portal. Others attribute it to this goat man wanting vengeance. My theory is that there are aliens. But,
I mean,
we always know that's my theory, so it's fine. But after extensive research, not done by me, done by people much smarter than me, there is no record of Oscar Washburn or Jack Kendall or lynching on the bridge in the 1860s or the 1930s. But then again, who would have reported it? Who would have written it down?
That's
not to be an asshole, but a black man in the 30s or the 1860s being lynched for whatever reason. Do you really think somebody's going to write that down and give a shit about it? Because,
it's
people
not.
suck?
It's not news because it happened all the time. So it's not news. So unfortunately,
yeah, if it was a slave, who knows if they were documented, and are they documented as Jack Kendall, or is that just what they called themselves?
Exactly. And especially if it's a runaway slave, forget about it.
I mean, to quote Wine and Crime, there's no way to know. There's just no way to know.
No.
So, now, depending on who you speak to, locals warn that if you cross the bridge at night, specifically at midnight, without headlights, you will see, or you could see, a goat man. So it's a man with a human body and a goat head. It's also said if you turn off your headlights and honk 3 times, that's when he comes out. Also, if you go on the bridge and knock 3 times at midnight, the goat man will come out. I mean, there's all these different things, like Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. It's one of those type things. But the vengeful goat man will meet you on the other side of the bridge. And a fun description is that before you see him, you just smell the stench of decaying flesh.
Ugh,
which is really nasty. Can't you just knock back? Or scream really loud? Or do anything else? Why do you have to smell? Go take a fucking shower. You're right by a creek. Seriously. Yeah.
Or I don't know, etch your name in the side of
that would be cool. Use your little hoof or whatever to write on their car. Get the fuck out. I get it. So visitors report hearing or feeling hooves run across the bridge at their car while they're sitting in it. Then the car doors will lock and unlock. Or if you get out of your car to try and see what the fuck is going on, you'll just get locked out of your car. Fuck it.
All right.
If you stay in your car while the locks are going up and down, you can also feel a pounding or knocking on the back of the car to the point where the car will kind of move up and down. Where you're fucking around in the car and it bounces. Like that.
Yeah.
People also say that they have had feelings of being watched, feelings of being followed, feelings like you are being encased in static electricity.
That's a new one.
I like that one kind of. I mean, I'm assuming it's kind of like when you feel lightning in the area. That kind of feeling. Or the feeling when you feel like you have spider webs on your face? That kind of feeling. I mean, that's usually a precursor to something's around you. But, yeah. They see strange lights in the surrounding woods. But it's not like you see the light and then you blink and it's gone. The lights kind of hang out and they move. They'll just keep moving further and further away from you. It's not that they disappear. It's they want you to see them. They also hear someone or something moving through the woods. People have been touched, grabbed, and pushed or have had rocks thrown at them. People hear splashing in the creek below but see nothing. They hear disembodied whispers and laughter. Hate that. They've seen glowing red eyes, orbs, shadows, apparitions, including a translucent man herding goats across the bridge.
Oh, no.
As well as a glimpse of a goat-headed man-beast stomping around in the woods, which we already talked about.
Yeah, I mean, as you do.
As you do.
As you do.
So it's thought that whichever story you believe in, the goat man, either Jack or Oscar, is wanting vengeance for his and or his family's lives and will fuck with the Klansmen or slave owners. I mean, I get it, bro. You do you. Get it.
Do it.
It can also be a dark spirit that was summoned by one of the seances who opened a portal, then now the forest is fucked. I mean, that could definitely be something. Some claim to hear the goat man's wife moving through the woods and is eternally searching for her murdered children. Sometimes people hear her screaming in the woods as well. Because of the legends, people love to come here and, again, perform seances or rituals, including animal sacrifices. The bridge has been totally set on fire multiple times, and some say it's people trying to close the portal to hell that has been opened. And I think it's because people are stupid and don't know how to have a safe seance.
That's probably
closer to it.
More accurate.
At one point in the community, a little girl went missing. But while the police were looking for the little girl, they found other human remains in parts of the woods that were very popular with people having rituals. And then they found one dead woman who was actually holding the little girl's teddy bear. but the police can't figure out why she was holding the teddy bear. So some people say it's the Goatman took out the people who kidnapped the little girl and then took the girl to safety, and that's why they can't find her.
I'd like to believe that.
Yeah. But they never found the little girl's body.
Jesus.
I
mean, there's a possibility she's alive.
There is, but she's probably not.
I don't.
I don't have much more of this, so here we go. There are parts of the woods where there are dolls hanging from the trees.
That's great.
And some psychics say that this spirit is not of a goat or a goat man or even a man. It's actually a satyr running around the woods in Texas.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, you know what? That's fine. We haven't found unicorns yet. They're just running in the woods.
They're probably out there with the satyrs.
You know,
They just,
I would love to find a unicorn. That would be like my
Get it
favorite
for Emma.
thing.
I would love that. Absolutely.
Yeah. They could be friends. Friends with the satyr. I don't know.
So our Ghost Adventures friends stopped by the Goatman's Bridge.
I'm sure.
They did. And I saved some of these fun last couple of things for this conversation. So they get there. They're in their big, cool driving RV thing that they have. And one of their still photographers, who is, I believe it's Jay's wife. Yeah, I think it's Jay's wife. Or ex-wife at this point. I don't really know. But she's out taking pictures, and she, like, kind of gets possessed by something. She gets, like, hit and knocked down, and so she's, like, really, like, fucked up, and she goes back in the RV, and she's, like, freaking out, and they're trying to figure out her pictures and whatever, and she's like, I really don't want to be here anymore. But, Zach kind of makes her be there because now she's bait because something wants her. Isn't that fun? I love that.
I mean, his big fat head is on the RV, so then he's like, all right, now everybody has to be in danger because of me. I mean,
yeah.
This will be great.
You get it. You get it.
Have you heard that, like, I saw, and this is kind of, like, off topic, but, like, there was, like, an ex-girlfriend who was, like, he cheated on me with, like, multiple women, Zach.
I can see it.
I mean, I look at him and I think douchebag, so, like,
I mean, my favorite is, like, everybody thinks of him in, like, an Ed Hardy shirt, and he's like, I've literally never owned an Ed Hardy shirt. So if you all could, like, find the episode. He's like, I do wear bedazzled jeans, but if you all can, like, point out the episode where I wore an Ed Hardy shirt.
Where I wore an Ed Hardy shirt.
I will admit to being that douchebag, but until that day. And I'm like,
that's so
dude,
funny.
It's not about wearing the Ed Hardy shirt. It's that you portray the Ed Hardy shirt energy, bitch. Like,
yes.
Don't, like, you and your bedazzled jeans and your Ed Hardy bullshit. Like, oh, look, I'm going to take my shirt off and yell at the nun ghost because he doesn't like shirtless people. But I mean, that's a different episode, but still.
But still, it's like, look at me.
Like,
it's all about me.
Kyle, but that's a whole nother.
I'm the backwards hat with the sunglasses on top.
I wear my sunglasses inside at night. That's the energy he puts off.
So,
yeah,
that's fair. I mean, put everybody in danger because I just, that's just.
I mean, this episode was really heavy too. Like, there was a lot going on. So, like, the poor girl has a whole bunch happen to her. Like, I'm doing this from memory. I haven't seen it in a while, but it was one of those episodes that, like, really hit you. There was a point where I think Aaron went blind while he's standing on the bridge. There was another point where Zach got, like, pushed over, and then him and Aaron tried to fight each other. And then under the bridge, Jay, whose ever wife that was, it's Jay. It has to be Jay, because Billy's the other guy with the mohawk. So it's Jay. He's trying to, like, close a portal. Like, he opens and does a seance and starts, like, doing all these things in, like, some circle. And he builds a fire. This is the creepiest part to me. I mean, everything else, honestly, in my humble opinion, is just fake as fuck. Because, Zach could be lying. Or, I don't always love to think that
of course
Aaron lies because I love him so much. But, like, Zach's like, I fell. $20 says you tripped over your own fucking shoelace. Like, come on. There's lots of whoas, oh my god, all that stuff.
Yep.
But Jay is under the bridge on, like, the bank of the creek or whatever, and he builds a fire and the fire goes out by itself. Like, 1 minute, it's a full-on blazing fucking fire, and the next, it's nothing. There's no fire at all. Gone. And then, like, a second later, it's blazing again.
I would leave.
Right?
This is when you get into Zach Baggins' big fat head fucking trailer. And you get out of there.
Oh, but the best part is they send the other dude, Billy, in, like, a canoe down the creek.
Why would you
I don't know, but as he's going, he's like hearing shit in the woods. And I mean, okay, it's the woods. It could be a deer. It could be a bear. It could be, you know, Bigfoot. I don't fucking know. It could be the fucking aliens. It could be any of it. But he's hearing shit in the woods. And he's like, nope, I'm turning around. I'm telling you, I think that was the smartest thing they ever fucking did. He turned around and was like, nah, I'm going back. Fuck this shit. Good for you, bro. Good job, Billy.
I don't get paid enough for this.
I don't care how many hundreds of thousands of dollars an episode I get. I'm out. Bye, Felicia. I'm done. But it's definitely, I'll write down what episode it is in the show notes. Like, go to our website and check it out. But yeah, I mean, I know it's short and sweet, but the Goatman Bridge, something else.
Yeah. I definitely could see somebody being like, oh, we're going to do some seance and open up the Ouija board and do whatever. And then.
Don't do it. Oh, don't do it.
Like, Unsolved did a episode there, and they opened up the Ouija board and did whatever, and they didn't find anything. But
are you talking about BuzzFeed Unsolved? I don't right. Yeah, they were there.
Yes, BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural, because he was like, "This is my bridge, Goatman," and like I'm like, "This is don't." And then they're like, "Let's bring out the Ouija board." I'm like, "That's never okay." Ever bring out the Ouija
they
board.
had two women. Ghost Adventures had two women come, and they were like, we were touched and grabbed and hit and scratched. Like, oh my god, the girl got scratched. Like, oh my god, it's such a.
And Zach's like, hell yeah,
he's like, Goatman, why don't you come after me? And then he's like, oh, why are you coming after me? When? It's like that. It's like, dude, you literally asked for it. Literally asked for it.
I know.
It's not like you were like a suggestion.
Well, the story behind the bridge, it's very sad. So it definitely can see some bad energy being driven there because of that. Because it's not too far off. Like, I really feel like that could.
I do too. I think it's a.
I mean, not the ripping the head off and putting the goat head on and being like, "This is mine."
I thought that was the most believable part of the whole thing. You don't want to go with that one. The black magic zombie coming out of the. No, okay. I mean,
like coming out.
You do you, but I thought that I was on board.
That's great. I love that so much. So yeah. Well, we're gonna end with something really uplifting here because we know how.
Oh god, so, we're switching things up, people. From now on, I go second. I've made an executive decision.
Yeah, Sam wants to go second because she's like, your shit is always terrible.
It's
and
not.
Like,
I didn't say it was.
Can be like,
terrible.
Oh, it's scary.
I did not say
it's not terrible. Like it's dark. It's heavy, and then we can go with the ghosts, and we can make fun of Zach Baggins afterwards. And that's fine. If that's what you guys want, I'm totally fine with going first every episode.
You do really amazing research. It's just your stories are so.
And it's not great. As I'm doing it, I'm like, oh no. So
I mean, at least 40% of my episodes, maybe more, we do end making fun of Zach Bagel Bites. So
I mean, that's true. That's fair.
Even if you listen at night, at least you kind of are like, well,
at least you could.
It's not as scary as.
It's not as scary. Although one of your Patreon, the Dear David one, I was freaking scared the shit out of me.
Okay, so we actually released that for Death Before Booze Appreciation Day. That was like last month. Yeah. No, March. It was March.
That one was really good.
That is my Roman Empire. Like, to this day, I still like, you know, like you get like the earworm song and you just randomly sing it, like DuckTales, woo, like shit like that. Ooh. Right now, I've been watching MacGyver with Ken, so it's always Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers because they're music stuff. But I digress. So, yes, Dear David is my Roman Empire. To this day, I'll be standing there doing dishes, and I just think of his head. I just think of the picture of his head in the green chair. So if you want, that was a Patreon that we released for DB Squared Appreciation Day. Feel free to go listen to that.
If you haven't listened,
it's creepy as fuck.
It's
that one is probably one of the scariest things I've done besides Black Eyed Kids.
Yeah, the Black Eyed Kids.
That was really bad.
And then I came in hard with the Anthill Kids. And you're like, fuck this.
Why did you bring it up?
All right. Well, I really did go back and forth on this particular story because it's fairly new. And I know that we like to kind of do obscure things, but I'm going to tell you the story of Gabby Petito.
Oh my God, that poor girl. I'm going to cry already. All right, hold on. I have my waterproof mascara on. Okay.
So, Gabrielle Verona Petito was born March 19th, 1999 in Blue Point, New York. She has 6 younger siblings / half-siblings, so I'm assuming that's like a family of 7. I know. I fucking know. Okay, I fucking know.
Minimum of 7. Minimum of 7.
I don't look for these
literally
things,
said that this weekend to Chris. Every story she does has a minimum of 7 children involved. Come on, continue.
I don't look for it. It just happens. Anyway, so she graduated in 2017 from Bayport Blue Point High School, which is where she met Brian Laundrie, and they became friends. September 2017 to January 2019, she lived actually in California Beach, North Carolina. I don't know why they have the names like that where it's like California and it's in North Carolina. You're like, what?
Oh my God, it's like Miami University in Ohio. Doesn't that throw you?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a Miami University or college. Miami. What?
It does. There's a Washington, Connecticut.
Is there?
It's in bumfuck nowhere, but like I was like, really? Yeah, no,
well,
I know.
How many Newarks are there?
Some stupid graduate
when
school
I was
thing.
a kid and I would drive, like we would go on road trips and stuff. Did you ever do this? Like you'd be driving in the car and you'd see like a town name that you knew, like Westbrook or Newark, and you'd be like, "Are we home again?" Like I would always ask and be like, "Are you just driving around in circles to fuck with me?"
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I'd be like, "Are we in Connecticut? Are we here?"
All the time.
So. But she was in North Carolina where she worked as a hostess in the kitchen of a nearby restaurant. She did apply to go to a community college. However, she did not attend. So in March of 2019, she started dating Brian and actually moved in with him and his parents in Florida. They worked at Publix. She was a pharmacy tech and he worked in the grocery department. Now, once the pandemic hit, they both quit their jobs. One of Gabby's friends, Rose Davis, said it was uncomfortable for Gabby while she was living there because she struggled to get along with his family, especially with his mom at times. If you're kind of stuck with people, like, you know, it's you better, especially in where you can't go anywhere. I could see it getting uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
So. Also, Rose mentioned that Brian was kind of controlling mentally. He actually took her wallet one time so that she could not go out with her friend.
Not okay.
Yeah, so it's the bricks are there. So like, you know, as we go along this yellow brick road, they're starting. So
I don't like it.
Now, late 2019, early 2020, they were like, you know what, let's do a road trip. So they did a cross country road trip from New York, where her parents are, to California. In March, she celebrated her 21st birthday in Florida. And Gabby and Brian visited Soap Creek, Georgia in June, and then they got engaged the next month.
Okay.
All good.
Okay.
In December, Gabby bought a 2012 Ford Transit Connect van, and they converted it into a camper.
Oh, cute.
Because they wanted to go on more road trips, and they wanted to travel more, so it's, you it's nice. They made this whole thing. And to save money, Gabby actually started working 50 hours a week at Taco Bell and as a nutritionist. Brian also worked at an organic juice bar. They were trying to save up some money so that they can make this dream a reality. And then this is actually when Gabby started documenting her life and her travels on social media.
Oh, okay, there it is. I was sitting there going, didn't she have like a TikTok or something? Or an InstaWebs?
She was on Insta and all that kind of stuff. So then she started to do that. So June 2021, Gabby and Brian went to New York because they were going to visit her brother's graduation ceremony. Yay. And by July, they started their trip. So now we're on the road again.
On the road again.
So then we get to August 12th, 2021. A witness called 911 to report a couple fighting in front of Moonflower Community Corporate in Utah. Which, from New York to Utah, holy shit, that's a long fucking way.
Fuck.
Like, they freaking, like
I gotta tell you, like, point. I am good for about 3 to 4 hours in the car, and then, like, if you know what, if it's...
You hit your timer.
If it's just me and I can listen to Broadway show tunes and just, like, have a concert, I can probably go a little bit longer, but not much. Mm-hmm. I mean, 5 hours is probably my max. Ken's always like, we're going to drive to Florida one day. I'm like, that sounds like my absolute nightmare. I mean, we're going to do it, but like, it does sound like an absolute fucking nightmare to me.
You hit your timer and you're kind of like... I also am, like, very easygoing when it comes to, I'm like, all right, I got my road mix, I got my snacks, like, whatever. But then it gets to a point where you're like, can't do this anymore. I need to be where I need to be. So the fact that they took off on their trip in New York in July and now in August they're in Utah, like, holy crap.
That's amazing. I'm really proud of them.
Yeah.
Well, not him, because I have a feeling he's the dick, right? We don't like him, if I remember this correctly. He's a fucking shit. We already
don't like him because of he seems to be some kind of controlling mentally. Yeah. So this witness was like, all right, these two kids are fighting. So they called the cops. They said, listen, I saw the guy. He slapped the woman.
No. Kill him. Shoot him now. Right in the leg. Take him in.
And the two were running up and down the sidewalk. He hit her again, and then they drove off. So he gave him, like, the plate and everything, whatever. So another witness said that the two were aggressively talking, and the woman punched him in the arm. All right. Also not okay.
But
it looked like, and they said it looked like the guy, so it was confirmed to be Brian and Gabby. It looked like Brian was going to leave her behind and take her phone with him.
No, you can't do that.
But before they drove off together, she moved into the passenger seat so he could drive and asked him, why do you have to be so mean? And then they drove off.
That's fair.
Well, the cops actually caught up to them, even though that the witnesses were like, hey, this is the deal. They said this is what they're driving. So a Moab, sorry for the city police department, this officer identified the van driving erratically around the entrance of Arches National Park.
I want to go there.
So he stopped them, and they separated the two in order to get their stories. Which
we do that. Yep.
Perfect. Gabby was sobbing, and the body cam footage showed that she told officers some days she has really bad OCD. She was trying to straighten up the van. She was apologizing to him because she was in a bad mood. So she's kind of saying she's overwhelmed with emotion and all kinds of stuff. Girl, I've been there where I'm just like, I'm crying for no reason. I don't understand what's happening. And I get
stimulated. I have a list in my head that needs to get done. Nothing's going right. The baby's crying. She just threw up on me. I haven't made dinner yet. I totally get it, girl. I've been there. It was me yesterday. Hence why we didn't record yesterday.
Oh. Yeah. So she explained to the officer she has a blog and they're blogging their travels because they're going cross country. And it's been really stressful. She said, I've been really stressed and he doesn't really believe that I could do any of it. So we've been fighting all morning and he wouldn't let me back in the car for a while. So
I don't like any of that. And what did the cops say? And the cop's like, wow, he's a
Well,
dick.
they asked her because they said, well, do you have any marks or whatever? Because it's like there were witnesses who said he hit you. And she was downplaying the physical altercation. She was saying, the officer said there were marks on her arms, there were marks on her face. So it looked like someone hit her across the face. And she's like, no. And then when they asked, she said he kept telling her to shut up and then he grabbed her face. Okay. But then she told police, I hit him first. And she even asked officers not to separate them. She was like, please don't separate us. This is just, this hurts my heart, like, a lot, because I can understand being in a situation where you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overstimulated, nothing's going right, and I don't know what to do. But there is, and I understand, I have never thought to myself, I'm going to punch my husband because I feel that way. I've maybe thought I'm going to punch something, but it was never like a thing, like a, I've also never, like, why would you hurt, like, why would you grab, it just, so, but I think also she mentioned I hit him also, like, I hit him first, and so he,
but that doesn't give him the right, like, you're wrong. You are
not.
110% wrong for hitting, like, don't do that at all.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're play fighting and, like, shit happens, like, that happens, I'm not saying, but, like, in anger, you don't hit, you keep your hands to yourself. You keep your hands to yourself.
You do not grab somebody in.
But
no, that is the first. That is
it should have been at that point where he was adult enough to walk away. And I don't know, something not to be. This is going to come out how it's going to come out, and I'm sorry. It kind of sounds like, from what you're telling me, that probably a lot is building up. Like, it's just building and building and building. So who knows if this was the first time, like, she just was like, oh my God, listen.
Right.
And you just blew up. Don't approve of it. Still think it's terrible. You don't hit.
No.
But it kind of, like,
but
from what you're saying and from what I remember, it's almost like he just mentally antagonized her, like, gaslit her and did, like, horrible things to just make, like, for her to sit there and downplay, like, he hit you. Yeah, okay, you punched him, and it's good that you admitted that. Yeah, I hit him first, but,
and it's not okay. It's not okay.
But he came after me, like,
the fact
super
that
hard.
The cops are like, you have a red mark on your face. You have a red mark on your arms. And she's like, no, but I did it first.
No.
So it just hurts my heart.
There's a sigh.
The police noted the entire time that they were talking to her, Gabby wouldn't stop crying. She was breathing heavily. She was rubbing her hands across her knees because she was sitting.
Oh.
So she's very, very uncomfortable, and she just wasn't able to complete a sentence without either wiping her tears, her nose, or again rubbing her hands in some kind of way nervously. Now, the officer that took Brian asked him what was going on, and Brian said he wanted to take a breather and just calm down for a minute, and then she got worked up. Now, again, I'm not saying you don't tell a woman to calm down, but I'm also saying don't tell a woman to calm down, especially an Italian woman.
No, you know what you do? You say, we're both worked up. I'm going to go in my corner.
I think we need a second.
You go to your corner. Let's both breathe a little bit, and we'll come back when we've both calmed down. That's what you say.
Especially, they've been on this road trip for a while.
And they're alone together in a little van from New York to Utah. I have a hard time with my husband in a hotel room for a fucking weekend. It happens.
You get in each other's way, and it's like, and I get that. So he was like, I told her to calm down. She wasn't doing it. He said, quote, and then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys from me. I was just trying to, I know I shouldn't push her. I was trying to push her away and say, hey, let's take a minute. So his way was saying, like, hey, let's back up. And he,
from what other people are saying,
gently.
Definitely not how that happened. He is downplaying it so hard.
Yes. And I mean, she had, if you look at the pictures and you look at the video, like she clearly has a red mark. Like either, again, maybe she's crying a lot, maybe her face is red, but it also kind of does look like a hefty slap. So it, you know, and her arms do kind of look a little bit, you know, bruised up. So you're like, okay. So Gabby and Brian said, you know what, we don't want to press charges. Things were said, things were done. And it was characterized by the police, that it was a mental breakdown rather than domestic violence. So she went done darn crazy because she's a woman and just
this poor girl
was hysterical.
Why do I feel like now all of a sudden, because she was like, oh, I have OCD, they were just like, okay, well, she's hysterical, and it got out of hand.
Well, also, he also was like, oh, you know, like we were driving and she was kind of, you know, whatever. So kind of leaning into she's a woman, she's hysterical, whatever. So the cops, I don't think, felt good about leaving that. But at the same time, neither one of them said, we want to press charges. They did separate them for the night, though. Brian was sent to a hotel room, so the cops escorted him there, and Gabby would stay in the van. So they did separate them for the night because they're like, okay, maybe we do need to kind of, all right. But unfortunately, when it's something like that, like she's saying nothing went wrong. It's all on her. And he's saying it's all on her. So to avoid arrest, they both said, you know what, it's not domestic violence. Okay. So this is kind of weird, and I didn't really know this part of the story, but August 17th, so like a couple days after, Brian took a flight from Salt Lake to Tampa, Florida, leaving Gabby behind in Salt Lake. Gabby spent several days at the hotel near the airport, and she checked out the 24th. Now, according to Brian's family attorney later, he made this trip because he had to get some more items. He wanted to close the storage unit because they planned to extend their trip.
Okay.
It's just very weird to me. Nova, could you stop it? Ugh. It's just very weird to me that, because I didn't know that he just like stopped. And he was just like, I'm gonna go back to home and then I'll come back. Okay. She did rejoin him the 23rd. So she checked out of the hotel, but they got back together in the same area the 23rd. Okay. Now, August 25th, Gabby's mother said, she called her and said, oh, we're going to Grand Teton and Yellowstone.
I want to go to Grand Teton.
Wonderful.
Teton,
beautiful.
Teton, whatever they're called.
Teton?
The Tetons. That's what they're called. Great Tetons.
Teton?
Oh, I want to go there so bad. Okay, go ahead. Me, miss, I can't go anywhere, and I don't want to fucking drive anywhere, but I want to go to all these fucking places.
I know, right? Yeah. That's me, too. I'm like, oh, look at how great Yellowstone would be. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm in my house. I want my cats.
I don't want to do anything. And I want to see that thing that, like, shoots up every 45 minutes. What's that called? Old Faithful.
Yeah.
I really want to see that.
That'd be
fun.
Sorry.
Okay, please keep going.
She did post on her Instagram herself in front of a butterfly mural in Ogden, Utah.
Okay.
This was her last social media update.
No.
So then she went social media silent. 2 days later, Brian and Gabby were seen at a Tex-Mex restaurant in Jacksonville Hole, Wyoming, between 1 and 2 p.m. According to one witness, Brian was aggressive, and he had an argument with the manager, the waitress, and the hostess about money.
What do you fight about at a restaurant? They tell you what the prices are on the menu. What the fuck are you fighting about?
I don't know what his fucking problem was, but like, the witness also saw Gabby return to the restaurant crying and apologizing for his behavior.
That poor girl.
Yeah. The two were then filmed by CCTV footage at a Whole Foods in Jackson. Mm-hmm. They entered the store at 2:14. They left the store at 2:30. They sat in the van for about 20 minutes before they drove off on Highway 89.
They had to open all their goodies.
Listen.
And talk about what flavor Sour Patch Kids they wanted.
listen, like when you go to Whole Foods, there's some like weird ass crap that you're like, what is this? And there's gummies and like there's like little, I don't know. There's a lot of
I
fun
gotta
stuff.
tell you,
So
like,
that didn't bother me.
Sour Patch Kids and stuff, like I have to put them in order, especially like with my OCD. Like I have to put them in. Like I'm gonna eat this one first, then I'm gonna eat this one first, then I'm gonna eat. Like that's how I do it, and I can't eat them until I do that.
So the 20 minutes it took them to get back on the road didn't really bother me much because they are in a van. Like they are in like a little camper and like got to organize stuff, whatever. They arrived at Bridger Teton?
The Tetons. Great Teton.
The Teton National Forest at their campsite at 2:46 p.m. Gabby wasn't seen again after this footage.
Where'd she go?
So Gabby's mom received a text message from Gabby saying, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." And this was odd to Gabby's mom because Stan is her grandfather and she never refers to him by his first name. So the text message was very weird because she's like,
he's texting on her phone because the grandfather keeps calling. Sorry.
Could be.
Oh my God, what an asshole.
Now, witnesses encounter, they observed a white generic male. I love generic in there because all white guys look the same, which is fair.
What's his name?
Believed to be Brian.
Okay, Kyle.
Believed to be Brian. They saw him driving his van slowly and acting weird. They posted this on TikTok, which law enforcement is later going to use. So, you know what? People can shit on TikTok. I'm too old for TikTok. I just can't. But like,
I don't post on it. I just creep.
One couple had dash cam footage of the white car in transit in the area and later saw the vehicle that night.
Okay.
Okay. August 29th, a woman recorded a TikTok video. Here we go, TikTok again, saying she and her boyfriend gave Brian a ride near Coulter Bay Village when she saw him hitchhiking.
Where's the van? Where's Gabby? Where's the van?
When she told Brian, we're not heading to Jackson, Wyoming, he freaked out, according to her, and so left the vehicle at like 6:10, 30 minutes after they picked him up. Before he left, he offered them $200 and wasn't dirty, despite him telling them he was in the woods camping all day. So, according to him, he was like, oh my God, we've been camping all day, blah, 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 blah. So he should absolutely be filthy, and he's not. After this, another witness picked him up around the same time. So, like, they dropped him off, another person picked him up, and dropped him at the entrance to Spread Creek Dispersed camping area. He offered the witness gas money, but was adamant about not wanting to go any further to the entrance. The witness even said he was antsy about getting out of the vehicle once they got to the campsite. Like, he was kind of like, all right, I got to get out. Like, don't drop me off at the entrance. Drop me off here. That's not suspicious.
No, not at all. You seem
So,
great.
Brian called his mom, and the conversation his tone completely changed. So after he was on the phone with her, whatever, his dad contacted him back, where Brian said, Gabby's gone, and that he may need a lawyer. And he didn't give any other details.
No, Dick. No, shoot him in the leg.
Gabby's mom also recalled getting a text from her saying, no service in Yosemite, which did not sound like Gabby. And honestly, I hear this because you know how your friends and how your siblings text. So if you're like, that's not right. That's not right. So mom was like, yeah. Also very weird. There were text messages between Gabby and Brian, and a transaction of $700 was made from Gabby's account to Brian with the message, goodbye, Brian, I'll never ask you for anything again.
And now, was this before or after we haven't seen her again?
This is
Of course it is.
we
What a
haven't seen
fucking
her.
dick. What did he do?
So.
Oh, we know what he did.
So, September 1st, Brian returns home to his parents alone. On the 6th and 7th of September, his parents and him went camping in Florida.
God. Remember we camped enough, you dumb fuck?
But your son comes home without his fiancé. He has this really, really cryptic phone call he made with you. And you guys are just going to go camping a couple of days later?
Where's the van?
September 11th, Gabby's mom filed a missing persons report because she hadn't heard from her, and she was like, I haven't heard from her. Her fiance is not really giving me much, and so I think something happened. After getting a lawyer, Brian's parents advised him to say nothing.
He already got a lawyer. He lawyered up.
Without the lawyer, which we say it all the time. Listen, it does it make you look a little sus? Sure. But, I don't want to have something come out of my mouth and then be like, well, you did say this, so. But in the meantime, the police surveyed the home. They saw him leave the house September 13th, and 2 days later, his car returned and entered the home. And there seemed to be a person exiting the car that looked like Brian. So they were like, okay, so he left, came back 2 days later, and now he's home. September 17th, Brian was reported missing by his parents. Because apparently the person that came out of his car was not Brian. It was Mom.
How do you tell me your mom?
It was Mom, but she had
hood? Okay. All right.
She might have had a hood. She might have had a hat. Or they really weren't looking hard enough because,
Yeah, usually guys are taller, more broad-shouldered.
Right.
They have a different gait.
Maybe they just assumed the surveillance team was like, oh, that's his car, so that's him. So they didn't really give it a lot. I don't know.
Really bad. 1,000 here.
Yeah. So at this time, the police seized the van, which I guess was still in
Utah, Wyoming,
Utah, an external hard drive, and the family car. So they're like, okay, he's missing now. She's missing. Let's figure something out. September 19th, human remains matching Gabby's description were found at Spread Creek dispersed camping area in Wyoming. I do remember this day because I remember the news reports came out being like, oh, she's missing. And literally my first thought was she's
gone.
He pushed her off.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. So I literally was like, this is not going to end well. And literally 19 days after she was reported missing, she ends up. So her identity.
No. You're going to tell me. Go ahead.
Her identity was confirmed, and the autopsy revealed the manner of death was homicide by blunt force trauma to the head and neck with manual strangulation.
No.
Which occurred 3 to 4 weeks before the body was found.
And she was missing for 19 days. So that means
she was missing. He came home September 1st. This is now September 19th. She hadn't been seen since
August.
Last week in August.
Oh my God, what a fucking asshole. I hate him.
So, September 23rd, the United States District Court for the District of Wyoming, this is blah, 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 blah. There's too many things, issued an arrest warrant for him. The United States District Court of the District of Wyoming. Why don't you?
Oh my God.
District of Wyoming.
WWJD. I don't know.
I know. So they issued a arrest warrant for Brian because he also used Gabby's debit card to withdraw $1,000 between August 30th.
But he's September missing 1st, now.
So when he was arriving home.
But he's missing now.
Oh, so now they're gonna. But do you remember during this time when Dog the Bounty was like, I'm gonna find him.
I'm going to get him. Yes, I do.
Time.
He came to the Continental. Yes,
I'm gonna bring him back.
I remember that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Yep.
I forgot about
there
that
were a
part.
ton of people who were looking out for him. So the police took material to match the DNA from Brian's house, and this is when the search started. His family went on the news encouraging him to surrender. So his family No idea where he is. And this is a big controversy. And this is kind of
shit. His parents knew exactly where he was the whole time.
See, this is the big controversy, and a lot of people say which if you notice, like in the news, there's a lot of things like her family is, civil courts suing his family for certain things. So like, read between the lines, October 20th, so almost a month after the search began, his skeletal remains were found, and he was identified by dental records. His belongings were found in the, Mayakarahachi Creek Environmental Park in an area that was underwater due to recent flooding. The cause of death could not be determined by autopsy, but forensic anthropologists further investigated and found he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
I don't believe that. I'm of the conspiracy that he's alive somewhere.
That's the other thing. There's a lot of there's conspiracies that it's not really him, that like something else, like there's a lot. So January 2022.
Okay.
The FBI revealed Brian's notebook, which was found near his body, contained an entry where he admitted to killing Gabby.
Oh God, okay.
And sending texts from her phone.
Who writes that down?
To make it seem
he's alive.
Right?
Yeah.
Dear Diary. Today.
Dear Diary. How come murderers always do that? Dear Diary, I'm an asshole. Like, why?
Today I pushed my girlfriend off
after I strangled her and bashed her in the head with something.
I also texted her mom because I wanted her mom to think it was her.
I texted about her grandfather, but I may have fucked up when I called him by his first name. We'll report more later.
Later. I'm currently walking in the woods.
I wiped my ass with poison ivy. Now there's a rash.
Which, you know
I
what?
hope he did.
He deserves all of the poison ivy.
Oh, yeah. And then diarrhea wherever he's going. Just massive hot red lava diarrhea, right? Emma agrees with me.
Ooh. I would agree.
This guy. I hate
him.
He's a show.
Due to finding this journal entry, authorities closed the case because he admitted to killing her. So, but his lawyer said she had fallen in the water and injured herself and then released the whole entry. So police only got half part of it. The whole entry read, quote, "I ended her life. I thought it was merciful. That is what she wanted. But now I see I made the mistake." So she injured herself so badly that he thought, let me just put her down.
What the fuck is she, a dog?
And first of all, that's not what the autopsy showed.
He ran into my knife 10 times. That's what I'm hearing right now. Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit.
The note ends with him saying, quote, "I am ending my life not because of fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without her."
Let me get my little violin out for you, you dumb fuck.
However, investigators find this didn't match their findings and even said he didn't want to own up to what he did. He tried to find, I did this because it's what she would have wanted. She got hurt so badly. She was going to die anyway. So I just ended her life. So you strangled her?
You bashed her in the head?
And then hit her with something really hard?
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, no.
So November of 2022, Gabby's family filed a wrongful death claim against Brian's parents.
Good,
which you
yes,
do,
exactly.
Which resulted in $3 million.
Perfect. Excellent number.
They're never going to see any of that money. Which was not the only lawsuit that they filed. Some against the officer who stopped them that day. But ultimately, the family believes Brian's parents should be held accountable as they knew what was going on prior to his death. So he said, "She's gone and I need a lawyer." Like, what do you think happened? And then you went camping?
Well, that's why they went camping, to get their story straight.
As of 2025, so today, information has surfaced that prior to Brian's disappearance, his family gutted and renovated his room, which is kind of sus. So when the police went back to look for him, the canine for the canines to get the scent, all of his stuff was gone. So when they reported him missing and they brought the dogs in to get a scent,
I don't have anything.
Mom and Dad already cleared his stuff.
Yeah.
It's also suspected that Mom helped Brian sneak away because she brought his car back and they went, oh, okay, he's home.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that. The parents said to have refused cooperating with law enforcement when their son was reported missing. So they're like, he's missing, but we're not going to help you. Okay. Gabby's parents believe Brian's parents were aware he had murdered her. He tried to hide it by helping him evade justice once he returned. His parents say they were concerned about her whereabouts once he returned, but still went camping with him and his family after Gabby's family was looking for answers. So they still went camping after he got home, despite...
I bet they went camping to go hide more evidence somewhere in the woods where nobody would find it.
They also, to go off of your conspiracy, there are suggestions he didn't kill himself, but his parents did it to spare him spending his life in jail. So either they did it or they got him out of there and there's somehow this body ended up wherever.
I'm going with that one. I bet it's not him.
So the aftermath of this whole thing is it did actually spark public interest in coverage in missing person cases and murder cases. But this is where it got a little controversial because the high media coverage cited by some was an example of, quote, missing white woman syndrome, which is a term used that to explain the news that's disproportionate focus on missing women that are young, attractive, and white, middle, upper class, and the ones that don't really fit this mold don't really get much attention. Which,
I remember that being a huge topic of discussion at that point. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because we do talk about Indigenous people and they
marginalized women,
African American women. They do not get what the care they need. Oh, they haven't been missing for this amount of time. This was so highly televised that it. Yeah, I mean, call it what it is. It is what it is. It does not matter because what happened to her was absolutely not okay, not called for. But the fact that she got so much attention so quickly is what everyone was like.
What the fuck?
So outlets actually compared her case to 710 Indigenous people reported missing between 2011 and 2020, showing how little media coverage that got for those cases. 710.
I was just listening to, and that's why we drink yesterday. So May is I'm gonna fuck it up. Missing marginalized people month or something. I'm not. Yes. I know I'm not saying that right. I'm not doing it justice. I apologize. But Christine covered someone from Alaska, like a native Alaskan person, and how she was giving out stats that are like 2% of the amount of people who are marginalized and are reported missing, only 2% make it to like the FBI database. I know I'm not doing that justice. If you haven't
but it's
listened to that episode, it literally is this past Sunday's episode. Go listen to it. It really opens your eyes. It's very sad, but
it is. It's extremely sad.
Something that needs to get out there. Everyone deserves somebody in their corner fighting for them, not just the young white girls. And I know I have privilege and I'm saying that, but...
Right. That statistic just totally threw me because I was like, you're right. That's literally like 9 years, 700 cases, and hers got so much coverage, which everybody's case should get. But it's unfortunate because people don't have the resources. Yep. People don't have the money to get someone on their side. And it shouldn't matter, but it does. And it's unfortunate. But the good thing about this is Gabby's father used his platform to advocate for this and say, to advocate for greater attention to these cases through projects like Face of the Missing, which is a TV program, and the Gabby Petito Foundation.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. And the foundation is great. Their website is beautiful. And so I have a couple things from there. it has resources available to those who are seeking guidance, articles, or tools, whether with domestic violence or with a missing loved one. And they're working to identify survivor-centered partners, making an immediate difference to victims of violence and their families. And a quote from their website: "United in diversity, we support everyone. The Gabby Petito Foundation is proud to stand firm with all race, age, gender, and LGBTQ plus communities. We recognize the need for support for all and believe that no human should ever be denied access to help, support, and prevention education." So that's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was perfect. Perfect.
It's beautiful. And I think that her parents, recognizing that this is what people thought, were like, no, let's do good with this platform. And I think that they're doing amazing things. They also partnered with the National Domestic Violence Hotline. They donated to the hotline so that they're able to hire and train more people to advocate. And to advance more technology. And I know I said this in the Patreon, but I'm going to just state it here. The hotline number is 1-800-799-SAFE, or you can text START to 88788. Also, you can visit thehotline.org to get more information. The best part is that if you press escape twice, it exits out of the page, so that if you're in the presence of someone and you don't want them to find that, you can easily go. So I know that with Gabby, we could kind of see the foundation of domestic violence coming, but what the foundation is doing, what her parents are advocating for, sure, they want justice for her, and they're continuing to do lawsuit after lawsuit against his parents. And you know what?
Go for
whatever
it,
sticks. Do it. I don't know if he's alive or dead. I'm under the impression that he killed himself because he didn't want to deal with the consequences because he's a piece of shit. But I know people like Sam who are like, no, mom and dad covered it up. They put someone's dead body there.
I mean, he already killed one person. What's killing another at that point?
And also, that area is highly flooded. So you know how many people like die in like fucking bayous and swamps, and they just like the bodies are just there. So they said they had to identify him with dental records.
You could pay somebody off. It's not that hard.
Oh yeah, especially because I do believe his parents are not hurting for money.
I'm so sorry. I think he's out there living his best life with a new name, probably Kyle. And he probably had a nose job.
He chose Kyle.
His name is now Kyle, like fucking White or something bullshit like that. And he's gonna do it to another poor woman. And I honestly bet, with the way he treats people, a couple of years from now we'll see him again and be like, why does he look so familiar? Why? Oh, his name's Kyle. I totally get it.
I also I know that her parents tried to get the cops too, who did originally pull them over. The problem with that situation is both of them downplayed it, and both of them said, we do not want press charges. And they did separate them, like they did for that night. You cool off, you go somewhere, but unfortunately, and I know it's
you can't force them. They're both adults.
Unless
you can't force them, unfortunately.
And
they did force them apart. They did enforce that.
They did. They interviewed them separately. So if something was wrong and Gabby did feel like I'm really in danger, she could have said, they asked her the questions of do you feel safe? Do you feel they asked all the right questions. It just was a matter of she said, no, it was my fault. So, but also, if you have a mental illness, because again, May is also Mental Health Awareness Month too, it's not to blame. Sometimes, sometimes I sit in the corner and I cry because my anxiety and depression's already bad. And I don't really know why.
Yeah, I can tell you.
But you know what? I'm not going to punch somebody, but that's, but also it doesn't mean it's your fault. It's just because your brain chemistry works differently. And it took me a while to accept that my brain chemistry works differently, and I might need medication to help me. I might need therapy to help me. So
I might need a day where I literally sit there and cry while I hold my child and just rock in her thing.
Yeah.
It just is how you reset.
It happens. Exactly. So, but we're big advocates for all of that.
Oh yeah,
so
you are in a
we got
very
you.
safe place. ADD to the max. We got you, boo. Don't you worry. ADD, ADHD, OCD, bipolar. What else do we got? We got all of them. I think anxiety, generalized depression.
We got everything.
We got it. We got. You want it? We got
everything.
it. We got you.
We got it.
And if we don't got it, we
it.
still got you, because that's what people need in this world. Just empathy and love.
Just to be told
you're not alone.
You're not alone.
There it is.
You know, and yeah, and you know what? May is a lot of things, like a lot of, but like keep, you know, check on people. Make sure they know that they're not alone.
Because you're not.
It's Mental Health Awareness
And we
Month.
love you. We love you so much. Okay.
Yeah.
So
We love you so much.
hang out on our social media because we love you and we put out fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not really fun stuff, but we try to make it fun.
Yeah.
Go to our social media,
Sam makes it
Instagram
fun.
and the Facebooks. If you want to see our notes, our sources, or the pictures or anything that we talked about today, go to our website, deathbeforebooze.com. If you're all caught up and want to hear more of our bullshit, go over to Patreon, join up there. Subscriptions start at $5 a month. I know times are tough. Recession is coming.
Yeah.
Totally get it. If you cannot help support us financially, we totally understand. Make sure that you are liking our posts and sharing our posts. That's a huge thing for the algorithm, so more people can find us. If you have a second, rate, review, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube or Amazon, Apple, Spotify, whatever it is. Just give us a good review. That helps us too. If you want to buy some merch, we have that on our website. But again, totally understand. I think I hit everything up. We love you guys so, so much. And sorry about us being late, but we'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Stay safe. Stay spooky. Love you guys.